fine. You're done. You're done.
What's wrong with you? What is it? And I'm not blaming you because I feel like that sometimes. Welcome to Improving Parent-Child Relationships. In this episode, we'll be visiting with Corinne and Mike, who are working on avoiding yelling and finding that planning ahead helps them be prepared to interact more constructively. As we begin, they are discussing their problem with yelling. I think I heard in the tape the word yelling. Is that something of concern in your family?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the rule about yelling, or is there one?
There's supposed to be no yelling.
Does that apply to them or you or all of you?
All of us.
All of you?
It doesn't work if we just make a rule for just them.
Sure.
It's something that has to be shared.
Is it a hard rule to follow?
Yes.
Yeah, that didn't take you very long. What makes it hard?
Just things are going, you're getting really upset, he pushes you, and eventually you just want to snap. And
For me, I don't beat them, so I yell at them. It's like the only thing I have left. And so for me to try and not yell and try and deal with it with him in another manner is somewhat new for me, and it's something I'm working on.
But it sounds like if you had some ways of working with him where you definitely weren't punishing him, beating him, you weren't yelling at him, if there was something else, that would be welcome to you. You'd like that. Well, why don't we start by taking a look and seeing how things are at your house, and we'll stop and talk.
Mama, you get me chocolate.
Why don't we find something that's a little bit better?
No chocolate.
No chocolate. What else would you want?
No. I want a chocolate candy bar. Chocolate candy bar. Chocolate candy
No, Michael. If Mommy wanted to give you one, then she would have said yes right away.
So, what's the rule about snacking?
he doesn't get to snack as much as he wants to, and right before that he had something else, and it just, when he's bored he eats. And yeah.
This is really important for everybody. The rule is he doesn't get to snack as much as he wants to. That's a little slippery as a rule. Do you see a drawback to that?
Yeah.
Because again, that's personal between you and him, because my guess would be that you would prefer minimal snacking, he would prefer maximal snacking, and so there you are. So if you had to be more specific about that, what do you think would be a reasonable rule about snacking?
I usually try to do just one snack. It's like 10:30 snack time, and then he gets a snack time at like 4.
Okay.
And that's it.
So if you could have the rule that you thought was reasonable, it would be a snack at 10:30 if he's home. I mean, I suppose some days he's somewhere else. And a snack at 4. Are you comfortable with that rule?
It depends on the snack. I mean, having a candy bar for a snack I don't think is a very good idea,
Okay.
but maybe some crackers with cheese. would be a
Okay,
good
so
one.
there's sort of part A and part B to this rule. Part A has to do with when we be having it, and part B has to do with what would we be having. So you're expressing the desire that it would be cheese, crackers, something maybe not so
Sugary.
Okay. Where are you with that?
Fully agree.
Fully agree. We've got a good thing going here. So we've got a rule that you both like. And one of the things you could do, since Michael's old enough to talk and seems to do that pretty well with you, you know, that you could maybe even make a list of what are the things that we could choose from for a snack or have available, but I don't know that candy would be on it. What I'm after here is that whatever it is very clear to him that in the best of worlds, he's part of putting it together and that it's manageable for you, that you're not too pressed by time, you're not too worried, and that it allows for consistency, because when things happen like we get too busy or there's too much going on or other demands, it really is hard to be consistent about it. The other thing is to have a rule that is simple that you really can follow up so that he learns that when you have a rule, you do mean it. Fewer power struggles that way. Rules need to be reasonable, specific, and predictable. Involve children in making rules.
Apply rules consistently.
We're going to back up because something was so small, we so easily could have missed it, and it was so good because I think all of you do it.
Chocolate.
Why don't we find something that's a little bit better?
No chocolate.
No chocolate.
With you, what is it? And I'm not blaming you because I feel like that sometimes, I think. So when you say no chocolate, are you anticipating he's going to be giving you a hard time that you don't have time for?
Yeah.
Okay. I think all the more reason to have a clear rule and to really have an understanding of what you would do to follow it up and to help him understand, I'm not going round and round about this.
Avoid negative expectations. Refrain from sarcasm.
You want? You can't. Popsicle. No chocolate.
What?
No chocolate.
Okay. Popsicle.
Popsicle.
Put me out here. Only purple and red.
Only purple and red.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen if I give you a different color?
I'll get mad.
And then what will you do?
I'll
Oh, really?
Saying if I don't get what I want, I'll get mad. He's pretty fully aware that if he doesn't get what he wants, he'll push the issue. That's what I'm after. And so I think so much for people thinking that kids really don't know what they're up to a fair amount of the time. I mean, he really does. And there's a reason why he thinks it would work to push the issue, and that's because he thinks maybe you'd give in. And my guess is that he reads you pretty carefully and decides, is this something that you might give in about if I keep it up? Or is this something where the look on your face, the sound of your voice, whatever it is, tells me I might as well think about something else because I'm not going to prevail here. Do you see him in that way?
Yeah.
Convey firmness when children seek to intimidate.
Read your book after the movie?
I need to read.
Yes. Your mother. And you got me some good stuff.
Not right now. Well, I don't know. You're having a popsicle right now. You just got home. You don't need just snack after snack after snack.
And Mom, just having one more thing.
Wow. I think you need to wait.
So he's got his popsicle. He's thinking ahead to the next item, right? Say. So where are you about this? Is there going to be a next item?
No.
Where
I
are you
don't
about
think-
this?
To be honest, here I don't know, and
Well, in life.
in life, I don't know. Usually,
Yeah.
yeah.
Tell me your thoughts about why you don't know. What kinds of things would go into that for you?
Don't know how late dinner would be
Okay. So
because I
you're
was really
thinking-
busy in the middle of doing stuff.
Okay.
And
So you're thinking, what if you can't make it till dinner at midnight? How late would dinner be on the latest night possible?
7.
7? Mhm. Do you believe if he has a snack at 4 that he can make it till 7?
Yeah.
You think about snacks, and again, I would take him in as my consultant. I'd talk with him about it because I think Michael is the kind of guy that knows what he thinks, knows what he likes. And so he would be able to help you plan that, and you would be pointing out, well, there are some nights we eat at 6, some nights we eat at 7. And so, Michael, you know how you feel, you know how your stomach feels, and I'm going to rely on you to tell me. So if you think that if we eat at 7 and it's too late and you get too hungry, then let's plan the snacks different because we don't want to be fighting about this and going round and round. We want something that will work here.
Involve children in deciding on reasonable snacks.
Do you want me to review the book?
Yes.
Or am I doing homework? Over here. Where do the shoes go?
I'll put them. I want to remember where they are by your shoes.
Thank you.
Really nice effort on Michael's part to do something you wanted done, put the shoes away. Is that something you've been working on a bit, putting things back? And
Yeah.
It's a continual effort.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a pretty continuous effort at everybody's house. I mean, it's just hard to keep things together. So we don't always make too much of those things at the time they're happening, and maybe we shouldn't, I don't know. But what do you want him to know about putting the shoes back?
I just want him to know that, you know, before you do something, you need to put away what, you know, what it is that you're doing, and just
Okay.
leaving them laid out on the carpet wasn't okay.
Okay.
Involve children in maintaining order.
Dad,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah!
Dinner's coming.
Go in your room?
You want to go to You want to go to Uncle Paul's birthday party?
Go in your room for 5
No.
minutes, please. Now.
No!
Now.
No!
Now.
No!
Now.
No!
My
Ouch! Dad! Dad! Dad!
I agree with what you're doing, but I'm interested in how you see it. Why are you taking him out of there?
Because he'd been told, and he'd been told by both of us, and still he was refusing to listen. He was yelling at us.
And because I can't pick him up on my can.
Yeah. So he's going, and that's about it. Now, you don't look to me like you're that upset, and you're not yelling.
I was in front of a camera.
So all we need to do is just park a little camera over in the corner, and it'll be this way all the time. Huh? How hard was that for you to do?
You know, I was actually very relaxed during the filming. I was able to, I think I did very well as a parent
so,
during the
too.
time. And I'd like to, I've been trying to do that more often, to not react to the situation with anger, because that, I understand, just tells him that he won in a sense, because he got us worked up.
Yeah, you're absolutely on the money. And I think what I see in this is that you absolutely can do this. I mean, you may not feel that way all the time that you can, but you absolutely can do this. And the way you're going about it is just fine. What do you think makes this kind of thing hard for most people to do?
It's the screaming from him that it makes it so difficult.
Well,
It's unpleasant.
he doesn't say, now take a couple minutes to figure out what you're going to do to what I mean, we're having to figure out what it is that we're going to do in reaction to his actions immediately. At least I feel that way, and so I'm on the spot trying to make a decision as to what I'm going to do, and I don't always make the right choice.
Yeah, well, most of us don't always make the right choice. But I see this as being very similar to the thing with the snack, that when you know what the rule is and you know what you're prepared to do and what's allowed and what isn't, and that you're firm, then when you're actually met with a situation, you're prepared.
Yelling or getting upset becomes a victory for children. Thinking about your response in advance reduces the possibility of becoming upset.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything. He was trying to pinch my hand as I'm taking
Michael!
I think I stepped on his foot as I first grabbed his hand.
5 more minutes if you want to Oh my gosh.
At least that's 5 more minutes.
He was kicking the door really hard, like he was about to
Oh,
break
okay.
it.
Yeah. So now you're coming in to tell him to be on the bed.
On top of the bed, yeah. Because the bed's high.
What do you think would happen if you just stayed out of the room?
I'm honestly afraid that he's going to break the door, and since we don't own the place and we're renting and we're moving, and so I didn't want him to break the door.
Causes breaking the door.
Him kicking it.
And what about him kicking it is bad for the door? What damages it ultimately?
I'm thinking about him putting his foot through it.
Yeah. Now, if I were a kid, if I had a pair of shoes on, I might consider doing that. If I didn't have shoes on, I probably wouldn't. Oh. So I'd be thinking a little bit about how possible is it that he can do this? Because, of course, his thing is to convince you that he will. And then you live in the fear of a broken door. Let's be sure we know whose door this is. And I hope it
Sure.
doesn't get damaged, but if it does, then we want you to know that you'd be involved in the solution. But what I'm not going to do is live in constant fear that you're going to do something to the door that I can't manage, because we're just going to be going round and round forever about that.
True.
We're not going to do it.
Take actions to reduce the possibilities of damage. Be clear that children are responsible for their own damages.
You got 5 more minutes. You get on top of your bed right now. Go. Get up there now. You've got 15 minutes. Go.
Shut up! Shut up!
Just ignore him.
Why do we care whether he's up on the bed? Is it to keep him away from the door?
It keeps him, when he gets up there, he gets calmer.
Mm-hmm.
He calms down easier. It gives him a chance to just be by himself.
Mm-hmm. And yet the drawback is you're in there directing him to do so.
Yeah.
So even though he's been removed because of what's been going on, he's got involvement. What do you think of staying out, and wherever he decides to go, I guess he goes?
That's a better idea.
Yeah, it's simpler. It's easier
Yeah.
to manage. I think it's always hard when you create a situation that's hard to manage.
Avoid trying to manage children during a timeout.
You need to shut the door if you're going to the bathroom.
I told him I'd come in and talk to him in a few minutes after he went to the bathroom. Go. I'll bite in your room. Did you flush? Ew. Did you wash your hands?
Yes.
Don't let him. Make the sinks dry. Stop messing around. In your room. Get on the bed. And I will be there in a few minutes to talk to you. Do you want macaroni and cheese for dinner or ramen?
So, like most really smart kids, he's figured out, I can get out of here.
He has to go pee.
He has to go pee. Well, I don't know. I mean, again, that's sort of over the barrel, because how do you know that this guy would not wet his pants? Although I put money on that he would not. What do you think?
Depends on the day.
It just seems
It
like
really does.
just seems like being able to go to the bathroom is one of those inalienable rights.
Yeah. Okay. Then if it is, and I think where you are about this is very important, if you think it's an inalienable right and he ought to be able to do it, I would really work to minimize any kind of involvement with him. So being sidetracked to, does he flush the toilet? Did he wash his hands? I wouldn't get into any of that. It's just, okay, you need to go. It's very businesslike. You're going, and then you're going back to where you were. Because I think he has a pretty good talent for pulling you away from what you were doing.
Minimize contact with children during a timeout.
Which one?
Macaroni and cheese.
Get on your bed.
Will you please make it right now?
It's either A, get on your bed, or B, clean your room. Which one do you want to do?
I don't want that.
Then get on your bed.
Hello. Please burn my pants. No. You can.
You go. Get in.
You did it?
Yeah. When Dad's out of the bathroom, I'll come in and talk to you.
Mom, they're not zipped.
There's something you can do. Go. Now.
Now he needs something buttoned or hooked or something.
His pants buttoned.
Now, where are we on those inalienable rights?
That wouldn't be one of them.
That wouldn't be one of them. So I don't know how you're going to keep your pants up until it's time to come out, but not our problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Resist bids for attention during a timeout.
Is it good, Christian? You like it, Michael?
Not you take a little bite.
Are you sure you don't want ketchup?
Yeah, I was just about to ask that too.
Bite.
How about a napkin?
Yeah, please.
Yes.
2 of them?
Yes.
Christian.
He wants to do it himself.
Well,
That's why I've learned my lesson. I'm not putting you in your high chair to eat this. Where are you going?
Mike.
It makes it much more difficult to feed you. Much more difficult.
You're feeding him because
He throws mac and cheese all over the place.
what a mess. You have to get a raincoat to feed him, huh?
Pretty much.
Okay.
It's easier.
Really? What do you really want to have happen as time moves on?
Well, eventually I want him to feed himself, but right there, I was just wanting to spend a little bit of time with him. So, I mean, usually I don't mind feeding him. Usually he feeds himself, so every day. So it's just that every once in a while, foods that are way too messy.
He's not even 2, and we've given him like a little cup with applesauce in it and a spoon, and he eats the whole thing. There's hardly any mess on his high chair tray.
He likes applesauce.
Yeah, and he's
So what you see out of that is he can do it when he's hungry and when he wants to. So if you put him in his high chair with something, well, actually, maybe applesauce is more runny than macaroni and cheese. At least there's chunks in macaroni. And he were playing with it, what would you think about that?
If he
Or
was just
making a
playing
mess.
with it,
Yeah.
if it's on his tray, I don't really care. It's just the fact that it was close to his bedtime, and I wanted to make sure that he ate and he was full before he went to bed.
to speed up the eating process.
Yeah.
You think he knows when he's full?
Yeah.
What would you think about the idea that if he makes a mess, he's done?
Sometimes we do that.
Sometimes
Yeah,
we do.
when he does make a mess,
Sometimes
we're
we
like,
don't.
okay, he's playing with his food, he must be done, and I take the tray off and
Yeah.
get him out.
What do you think about sometimes we do and sometimes we don't?
We do when we're busier or, just like, okay, out, just go, play. But I don't know, sometimes it's like he's still eating, so I feel like, okay, maybe he might still be hungry. And
Sometimes I think he uses throwing the food on the floor as a way to tell us that he is done.
Yeah, get this stuff out of here. It's like these other things we've talked about. If it isn't clear to me what I'm able to do, and I have to use as a barometer how you feel and whether you're busy and is the laundry folded and all this other stuff, then I don't know what to expect. But if you're pretty clear with me about it comes back out, you're not eating it, and you're making a mess, then you're done. It's more focused on him, I think. And it means I would just be pretty consistent about what I'm doing. I think you'd save muss and fuss because you wouldn't have to clean up the mess, and you probably wouldn't have to take the time it takes to feed somebody individually.
When children make messes with their food, they are done eating. Consistent responses teach children what is acceptable.
Are you going
How about this bowl, Corinne?
What, Mike?
Is this one ready to be washed?
Do you want to see if Christian will eat any more from you? So I want him kind of full for when he goes to your dad's.
Yeah, oh, that was a big bite. Okay, he's done, I think. No? Okay. He was done.
These look like something Joe would wear.
What does?
These.
You spitting it out? Okay, fine, you're done. You're done. Thanks for the mess, Christian.
Criteria you can really use when he's spitting it out, he's done. Yeah.
A lot of times, though, he likes to spit it out into his hand and then eat it out of his hand because he wants to feed himself. Or I gave him too big a bite or something.
Then you'd have to decide on your policy about recycled food.
there he was done.
It's probably not an inalienable right. And maybe something I wouldn't want in terms of just manners. And you don't need to decide now, but I do a little bit of thinking about, should he be sitting down while he's eating? Because in the long run, it's better for you.
That was just the last couple bites to make sure that he was done. He had been sitting in his high chair for most of it. Or
You are both highly committed to making sure these kids are done. So now I'm prompted to say, what would happen if they really weren't done? What would be the worst thing that would happen?
and they'd be hungry a little sooner for the next meal, I guess.
Yeah, and they might learn that eating has some business-like qualities to it. And those who want the food probably should get with the program and eat it, because done is done.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd starve to death while they're learning it. You know, I think you're pretty nice people, but I think this may be going on at your expense, not theirs but yours.
True.
Establish routines at meals. Avoid excessive concern with children's eating. Children eat if they are hungry.
I have in mind kind of summary of how this looks to me. I think you are really moving in the right direction. You've made some decisions about what to do that make sense to me. I think if anything that I see common to all this, it would be keeping it simple enough so that you're actually able to follow through without being distracted by other things.
Yeah.
Because he's pretty creative. He really is pretty creative, and that's a difficult thing. When I don't feel correct about what I'm doing, I get worked over for having done it, because I'm just not on the same solid ground. But when I've given some forethought and I've decided, no, this is pretty reasonable. Somebody who's yelling is going to the room. They're going to be there for 10 minutes or until they're quiet. I'm not going in to discuss anything else. Then you're prepared. You really thought out what it would be. Then you're on pretty solid ground. And then you're not so vulnerable to appeals, sad looks, counteroffers, I mean, all those kinds of things. If you decide that it's reasonable to not be going in the room all the time when he's not behaving in a way that he can be with people, then maybe hooking the door the first time makes sense, because what I don't want to do is go back 6 times and make it even harder. So I really do believe the more we think ahead to things and are really prepared, the easier it is to be consistent, and the more likely it is we're going to be effective, because we won't be kind of ripped up inside. When the kids show us they're done eating because they're playing with food, it's gone, and I really think they won't starve to death till later, then you're on solid ground. But if you're still kind of thinking, well, how would I know and how would I tell, then it's really hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kids don't lack for the ability to put you to the test for anything. And I think they test wherever there are opportunities. So to me, it feels like the more you decide what you're trying to do and how you're going to be consistent and what's manageable enough to stick with, the less you will see opposition to it, because they will see that you really have thought through it, you really have decided, and there's not much wiggle room. I think kids take advantage of wiggle room. And you're pretty nice people, so the potential for wiggle room is pretty big here.
Yeah.
You probably identified with many of the situations shown. It's up to you to decide what would work best in your own family. Here are some of the main principles and skills in this episode.
Chocolate candy bar.
Apply clear and predictable rules consistently.
Chocolate candy.
Thinking through in advance reduces the chance of becoming upset. Minimize contact during timeouts. Establish routines with daily tasks.